Kaspa fans, this is your daily Kaspa news anchor, David from Sin City Crypto, and today we're looking at this Kaspa on the daily chart. I got some bad news and some good news. Let's start with the bad news. On the daily, as you can see here, Kaspa is in a symmetrical triangle, but one thing to note, lower high, lower high, lower high on price action. We go down here on the RSI. We started our first high, okay? This is your RSI. This is the peak. Second peak is higher than the first one. Third peak is higher than the second one and the first one. This is what we call a bearish divergence. That is bad news, but I do have some good news, so stay tuned and let's jump in. Back to this chart here in a second, and I'll tell you what the good news is and, well, what this measured move would be if this does break to the downside, since it is somewhat of a symmetrical triangle. But first, I do want to share a couple of pieces of news that I feel like are important. First one, now, although this isn't new news, I still think it's very important. This was posted by Casplex. Thank you all for joining today's speech about what Casplex is. Sadly, live stream wasn't provided in time. We are proud and excited to announce our L2 launch mainnet date. This is possible thanks to the incredible work of our team who worked diligently for the last 6 months, nonstop, no vacation, full dedication for what we believe in. We would like to say thank you to everyone who believes in Kaspa and its potential, and we welcome all of you to explore it. The wait is over. Smart contracts on Cas via Casplex L2 will happen on the 31st of August. Officially, 32 days from the time of recording, we'll see smart contracts. And up until about 6 months ago, I would have told you, might be too late. Might be a Cardano style run where we get that peak, smart contracts launch, and then the bear market hits. But the way the markets have been trending, and if you listen to what Charles Hoskinson said on Blockworks interview just a couple of days ago, and this is what a lot of people are saying, and I'm starting to think that myself as well, deep into 2026, this bull run is going to go. If that is the case, then Kaspa could be positioned to see a massive rally. I don't know, 50 cents, $1, $1.20. Of course, those are pretty high numbers. We're talking about more than a 10x here from a top project who's already got a market cap in the few billions. But if this happens and we start onboarding people into the L2 and into the entire Kaspa ecosystem, not just the token standard, but smart contract functionality, that could be the catalyst for Kaspa to see brand new highs. We also have this from Kaspa Key. U.S. regulatory update, emerging regulatory momentum with the Clarity Act during Crypto Week, building off FIT21 to clarify SEC versus CFTC oversight based on decentralization. For Kaspa, pure proof of work, no pre-mine ICO, fair launch and block DAG for high throughput. This could mean absolute commodity status under lighter CFTC rules. For no single entity holding more than 20%. And as far as the unlocking, what unlocks? Smoother worldwide exchange listings, institutional inflows and ETFs, enhanced liquidity and adoption, mainstream use as efficient digital money. That said, centralized or VC-heavy projects may face stricter SEC hurdles. So what they're making a case for here is when the Clarity Act passes, there's going to be a little window from when a token launches to when it can be deemed decentralized and be regulated by the CFTC as a commodity versus by the SEC as a security. And what this post is saying essentially is Kaspa is already there. Much like Bitcoin, Kaspa is already there. So there's no need for a window. While you look at some of the other ones, Solana, I'm not picking on any of these, Solana, XRP, Avalanche, they still need that window because of the holdings and the percentages more than 20%. And so they deemed 3 cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano, as, I forgot the terminology. Someone put that terminology that they referred to in the comment section, but meaning they're in their true decentralization form. They could be listed essentially and regulated as commodities. Kaspa would join that fray immediately. And so, yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of these. What kind of trickle-down effects it'll have if that does happen. Also from Kaspa Key, a little bit of a case study here. RWA tokenization, supply chain, and commodity trading, a great test case. So this is tokenized olive oil from Ancient Groves, traded with speed and transparency of Kaspa Block DAG. Experienced fractional ownership of premium agricultural assets with complete provenance tracking. I love this. I think this is great. I told this to one person and like, olive oil, funny. Anyways, the whole point is this is a test. This is a sandbox. They're testing, see what works, see what doesn't work, what improvements need to be made. So shout out to the Kaspa Key and the entire Kaspa community. Back to the chart. Now, I did mention symmetrical triangle, hidden bearish divergence, right? Lower highs, higher highs on the RSI. This is bearish, my friends. And again, being a symmetrical triangle, this is a 50-50 on whether it's going to break to the upside or to the downside. And if we pay attention to the momentum oscillators being the RSI, we could assume that this is going to break to the downside. Now, the measured move would just take the middle of this pattern, we measure the width, and then we take it from the downside. Now, guys, I'm not saying this is going to happen. Obviously, the measured move would bring Kaspa down to 2 cents. To be clear, I don't think Kaspa is going down to 2 cents, okay? But at the end of the day, this is what the chart is telling us, is there is some hidden bearish divergence. That is the bad news. Now, could this thing come down? I think the more likely scenario, if it even happens, is going to be, number one, to test this region here where Kaspa consolidated, which is around 7.5 to 8 cents. I think that's more feasible. And then we have our ultra premium. What the hell are you doing? Sell the guns, sell the cars, sell the kids, buy Kaspa. That's between 4.2 and 5.5 cents. That has been an absolutely phenomenal buy zone. And let's just take a look back at the last 2 times price dipped into this region. First leg, Kaspa rallied 47%. Second leg, in its entirety, and this was a big one, Kaspa rallied 148%, not to mention coming into this W pattern off of the double bounce, little bit of a pullback, a flag, and then into new local highs. Now, the W pattern also lives on the weekly time frame, and this is your good news, okay? Now, me personally, and I don't know how you guys feel, those of you that are traders, but higher time frame trumps the lower time frame, okay? As long as your time horizon is more than a month, okay? If your time horizon is 6 months plus, this W pattern on the weekly time frame should mean a lot more to you than the hidden bearish divergence on the daily time frame. And this is a massive bullish pattern, a double bottom. In fact, coming in, I was looking for some divergence on the weekly, couldn't find any. But one thing to note, the low here on April 7th versus the low on June 16th, the low on June came in higher. Momentum is shifting. Now, the one thing I will note on Kaspa, I did want to take a peek at the any fair value gaps here. We do have a massive order block, which Kaspa currently got rejected at. So that's one thing to keep your eyes on, which is here. You see shaded red, shaded green. Red were sellers, green were buyers. And this is where 42% of volume happened in this region here. You can see when Kaspa was in an uptrend, it catapulted the price to the upside. Catapulted the price to the upside. On the way down, though, okay, rejection, spill off, rejection, spill off. And as of right now, rejection, spill off. So this zone, and I'll drop some flags here. The zone between 9.8 and 12.1 cents is a massive resistance zone for Kaspa. But the good news, my friends, is once we break that, we really don't have any resistance until we get to around 18.85 cents. Smart contracts in 32 days. Kaspa community, you guys are doing what you're doing and keep doing it because you guys are one of the loudest communities out there. And just a pure, from a technology standpoint, and we do what really no other proof of work chain can do. I think that's all going to help Kaspa blow through that 12.1 cent region and scale up and get to new all-time highs, guys. 20 cents is a 2x away. It's not too far away from new all-time highs. So with that being said, that'll do it for the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a comment. I'm curious. I'm trying this new thing out with standing up in front of the LED wall. Do you like that? Would you like to see more of that? Put a 1 for yes, put a 2 for no. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.